Former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu is the latest to join the list of critics questioning the nomination of private legal practitioner Kissi Agyebeng as Special Prosecutor. His main concern is that the nominee's ties to persons involved in the Japamino royalties agreement, on the back of which he resigned, compromises him. In his latest episode, Mr. Amidu also alleges the president's cousin, Gabi Asare-Okyedakun, leaked news of the nomination in an attempt to influence and pressurize the president to approve him. It comes on the back of criticisms by some, including Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, about the basis for Mr. Agyebeng's appointment. There is more in this news desk report.
According to Mr. Amidu, records show the role the president's cousin, Gabi Asare-Okyedakun, who established Africa Legal Associates and Asase Radio, played with White and Case LLP of London, one of the foreign law firms, in the suspected corruption transaction. He claims Asase Radio is undertaking what he describes as political propaganda to prepare the minds of the Ghanaian and international public to accept Kissi Agyebeng. Mr. Amidu argues the nominee is a personal friend and classmate, the Attorney General and Gabi Okyedakun, and accused the two of using the nominee to protect the actors involved in the corruption deal. His concerns come on the back of similar reservations expressed by Vice President of Policy Think Tank Imani Ghana Bryce Simmons, who believes Mr. Agyebeng should recuse himself due to his closeness to Africa Legal Associates. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu says the nominee lacks the credentials and weight to combat corruption.
Credentials compared to who? Compared to Martin Amidu, he's a non-starter. Compared to Martin Amidu in terms of stature, experience, integrity, and reputation, he just doesn't come close. You need men of wits and will to fight corruption. So, disappointing appointment, but let's see what he's able to do.
On his part, former MP for Tamale Central, Eunice Afuseni, described Mr. Agyebeng as too young to occupy the role.
There's some kind of respect, mutual respect, between the president and the special prosecutor.
If the person is young, and in this case of Agyebeng, he's just about 43 years. The problem is if the age difference won't lead to the president trying to control him.
Problem is the age difference between only president and will it manifest in the president trying to control him, because ultimately president no ba.
Tonight we get a take of anti-corruption CSOs on what they make of the appointment of Kissi Agyebeng as Special Prosecutor. Joining me via phone is anti-corruption campaigner Vitus Azim, and later Adam Senanu, who is the the co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption. I'm grateful for your time, Mr. Azim. What do you make of the criticisms of the nomination of Mr. Kissi Agyebeng to the office of the Special Prosecutor?
Well, when somebody is being appointed to play the role to fight corruption, like the Auditor General, like the Office of the Special Prosecutor, like Commissioner of SHRAG, it is important that these issues come up and that the appointed authority will look at them. If there are bases for them, it will be important to have a second look or at the possibility of nominating the person. So yes, I don't know the man personally. I don't have enough details about him. But what I'm reading, if it's true, I think that the president needs to take a second look at these allegations so as to decide whether to actually nominate him and put parliament or not.
And so, definitely, if it happens, do you think he has what it takes to head the office of the Special Prosecutor?
Well, what it takes, it's not just a one-man show. The Office of Special Prosecutor is an institution, and so it will involve not just him being the head, it will involve the staff that he's going to work with, and it also involves the government providing him with the necessary resources so that he can do it. It will also require on the part of the government to grant him the necessary independence and not interfere with whatever he decides to investigate. As a human being, and especially if they take some of the allegations about his relationship with people in high place, partisanship and all that. These are things that it's not easy to put aside in Ghana. So you really need to be very strong to be able to resist the partisan interest in his work. And that is the worry.
Now,
even when Martin Amidu was known, both sides of the political divide accused the adverse side of doing one thing or the other to favor one party or the other.
Mr. Vitus Azim, I'm asking this because Minority Leader Harun Idris, for instance, says the nominee lacks credentials and weight to combat corruption. Former MP for Tamale Central also describes him as too young to occupy that position. Now, the Vice President of Imani, Bright Simons, wants him to recuse himself because of its close ties with the Africa Legal Associates. Now, I want your own assessment of the man in question.
I have told you that I don't know him personally. I've not interacted with him before. But, again, age could be is a potential risk. But that doesn't mean that young people should not be appointed to certain positions. So, again, I cannot say that he doesn't have the what it takes to be officer, to be special prosecutor. It needs to be strong. But not just strong in itself. They have a board of directors. He should be able to recruit staff that he can use, people of integrity to help him, if he has a man of integrity. He has to look for non-partisan people to recruit. So these are some of the things that we should be looking at, and not just he as an individual being whether he's 40 or 50. We have had a president in some countries being 40 or less.
Okay.
So if you can be president of the country, you can also, you can offer any other public office in a country. So it may be a potential risk, but it shouldn't be the main determinant.
What are your expectations if he eventually gets approved?
Well, I think that if he's approved, the first thing is to clear the backlog of petitions that are at the Office of Special Prosecutor. And again, that is an area that there will be some amount of suspicion and potential issues there. Because, for example, Martin Amidu alleges that he was a lawyer to some people that were being investigated on corruption. So if today you are a lawyer of this one, tomorrow you come in as the special prosecutor, how will you convince Ghanaians that you will not allow that relationship with your clients to affect whatever work you're going to do? Moreover, the issue of the Agyebeng deal, for example, the former special prosecutor came out with certain issues that made government withdraw it from Parliament. But the Attorney General has said that the deal was clean. And the Attorney General is appointing body. So if he goes through and Parliament decides to throw the deal, if the government sends it back to Parliament and Parliament decides to refer it back to the Office of Special Prosecutor to say, how do you see it? Has the government addressed the concerns that were raised by Martin Amidu? He will find himself in a very tight corner. So these are the concerns that people are raising, and I think they are genuine concerns, and the president needs to look at them.
I'm grateful for your time. Vitus Azim is an anti-corruption campaigner. He's been speaking about the raging debate about Kissi Agyebeng as Special Prosecutor nominee.